The following question, what is apostasy, riddah? And into how many categories it is classified? Apostasy is what takes one out of Islam. When we say a person apostatized, that means he left Islam. How would one leave Islam? By either uttering a blasphemous statement, or committing a blasphemous action, or believing a blasphemous belief. So if one were to have in his heart a blasphemous belief, such as to believe that Allah is a body or a spirit, or that Allah is sitting on the throne, or occupies a particular place, or in all places, such a person has committed a blasphemous belief. These are apostate beliefs. The apostate actions, such as to throw the Qur'an in the trash knowingly. He knows this is the Qur'an, and intentionally he would throw it in the trash. Or someone may have a book, let us say, and he can see it contains verses of the Qur'an, a book of religion, and intentionally, knowingly, he would throw it in the trash. Some people who used to work in printing shops, they use, wal-iyazu billah, to pile the mushafs, copies that they printed, because they're making thousands of copies, so they're piling them up. They want to stack some at the top, they would, wal-iyazu billah, stand on them. Yani they would climb and stand. Their feet are on the mushaf. This is called blasphemous action. And some people, wal-iyazu billah, who worked in these printing shops and committed such and such, did not learn that this is blasphemous, and they fell into blasphemy and they died as blasphemers. It happened a while ago near Mecca, between Mecca and Jeddah. Mecca and Jeddah. There is an area called Yanbu'. Someone died and people used to think good of that person. They dug the first grave for him and they found a huge snake waiting for him. They dug another grave. They found another snake waiting for him. They dug a third grave for him. This is very famous in that area. They dug the third grave and they found a snake waiting for him. Then the one who dug the grave said, this person is not like what we used to think of him. He's different. So you may think that this person is good, but in the grave, he will be exposed. So not every time such a matter will be shown to people. Allah Azza wa Jal at certain times may reveal to people some of the torture of the grave so they can take lessons. But not everyone who is getting tortured in his grave, you can see him getting tortured. It happened as well. There are many stories about this, that in one of the regions, someone died and he used to deal with usurious gain, they call it riba. He used to lend Muslims money and take interest. So, and he can't do this. He used to do this until he died. When they buried him, his grave was set on fire. His sons didn't know what to do until they went to a scholar and they told him, and that scholar said to them, go to every single person he used to deal with them and ask them to forgive him. They kept on going from one person to another and asked them to forgive him until it was put out. And the blasphemous sayings cannot be written in one book, because every day you hear people making up words and statements that are blasphemous. If one were to say a word that belittles Allah Azza wa Jal, His verses, the Qur'an, the prophets, the angels, and the like, one would fall into blasphemy. And he won't have an excuse if he is ignorant and he hasn't learned about the judgment, because the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, a person may utter a word which he thinks harmless. So he doesn't know it's kufr, he doesn't know it's haram, he thinks it's nothing. It results in his falling into hellfire, the depths of 70 years. And that's the bottom of hellfire. So when the Prophet said he thinks harmless, that means he doesn't know the judgment, so that's not an excuse. Now, if someone is speeding in this street, he's driving 80, and a police officer stops him and he wants to issue a fine for him, if he says to him, I didn't know it's 60 zone, I thought it's 80, would he let him go? No, he would say, no, you should know, you should have read the sign. Even in these matters, if he goes to the judge and says to him, I didn't know you cannot exceed the speed limit in Australia, I came from Zimbabwe, I thought you can drive your car as fast as you want, would the judge say to him, yeah, because you didn't know, we're not going to issue any fine to you now? He would say, if you don't know, you shouldn't be on the road in a car. So in these matters, people know that ignorance is not an excuse. What about in religion? They don't want people to learn. They want them to remain ignorant and not learn. That's the difference between the one who is knowledgeable and the one who is ignorant. Like the one who can see and the one who is blind. That's the difference between them.